Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. So I want to share something with you, and hopefully this word is not all over the place because I have my notes right here, which my notes are kind of all over the place. So I'm going to have to toggle between what I have written, but I don't want to make this too long. I just want to make it a straight and to the point word. And I'm not sure what the Lord is going to have me title this word. I'm not sure about any of that. I'm just going to go ahead and jump in because I had this dream in the wee hours of this morning, and it's for somebody, even if it's for one person, whatever, I don't know. Take this word to God, take me to God, and let him give you more on it. But you guys know the Lord speaks to me a lot in parables. So this is what I got this morning. So I just want to share this with you. Hopefully I do not have to pause this video. I do have someone coming that's supposed to check out the internet to make sure it's secure, and my director may call me to jump on a meeting. So we'll see how this goes, but happy Wednesday, guys. Happy hump day. I hope you guys are doing well. I am, but we're going to get into this word. I'm recording on my phone. So like I said, hopefully I don't have to pause it. And if I do, I'll just come back to this word, but it should not be that long. But this is for many of you that are in an in-between place. You're in that in-between place and you feel like you've made it, like that's your promotion. Like, I'm here. I just went from one season to right here, and this has been a promotion for me, and you're thinking that's it, but God is about to surprise you, okay? When he told you, the Holy Spirit is upon me, but when he told you he was going to do exceedingly above all that you can ask, think, or imagine, that's exactly what he meant. But a lot of us, we've learned to be content in any circumstance and situation. Like, I read some comments and it's annoying because they're like, God, why did you bring me here? Help me with this, help me with, and it's always like requests being made. Like, I feel like I read more requests in the comments than more thankfulness for where God already has you, even if it may not be ideal. But some of you are in the very places that you prayed for God to bring you to, and now you're asking for something else instead of embracing where you are. That's a whole different word, but I need to call out those of you that do that because it's annoying to me. So I could only imagine how God feels, because it will make a person feel used if every time I bless you with something, you stay in it, you bask in it for a little while, and then you're asking for something else. Shh, embrace where you are. Because many of you guys are in the very places that you prayed for. Stop blaming God. Stop, oh, God lied to me. Well, God is not a God that shall lie. And for that to come out a lot of your mouths, I'm surprised you're not afraid to speak something like that, if I'm being honest. Let me just not get off topic. But this is for somebody. I don't know if it's for 1, 2, 3, 4 people. I don't know. Take this word to God. Take me to God. Don't ask me no questions. I'm just a vessel. Take it back to your Father. If he's giving you a revelation on something, he expects you to sit with him on it, okay? But I had this dream in the wee hours of this morning, and I dreamed that I was promoted to a team lead role at the current company that I'm at right now. So I currently, many of you already know this, but I do have a lot of new people. So welcome to Bold for Christ. I hope God sent you here, but I'm happy to have you. But many of you know that on 4/14, God called me for such a time as this, and I stepped into this new position. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. The last position God had me in, I started it February the 10th, and I knew God had sent me there. I didn't know it was going to be temporary, or that temporary, should I say. So I started that job February the 10th, and then God promoted me and I took this position. So I gave my 2-week notice to the last company that I worked with, and I took this position, right? And this is also a door that God opened for me, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. When God presented me with both of these options, the last company that I worked for, I was getting paid a decent salary. No one, I was able to do my job and no one paid attention to me, right? And I'm not in a bad way. They knew about my talents. They knew I was good at what I did, but nobody bothered me. It was such an easy job. I literally felt like I was getting paid to do like bare minimum, even though I was really giving it my all, but it was such an easy job. It just blew my mind. Like I would do my meetings with my clients, and if I only had 3 meetings for the day and all of the rest of my emails were caught up, I literally had the day to myself. So I would get paid for a full day, right? I was salaried, so I didn't clock in or anything, but I would still get paid my full salary, even though the work wasn't full-time work. It was really easy for me, right? And I knew God opened that door. So then he brings this job, and the last company I was an accounts manager. This company, I'm a senior accounts manager. And this is a lot more in-depth, okay? So I'll have a lot more work to do here than I did at the previous company. So when God presented me with this option, I literally could not decide. Like I knew God was saying, you need to choose, and there's a time frame on your choice, right? Because I had to give the last company 2 weeks. I don't leave a company without giving 2 weeks. I don't burn bridges, or I try not to, okay? So there was a time frame on my choice. So it took me a minute because I'm like, this job is so laid back. My director loves me. The C-level executives love me. As long as I do my job, my days are for myself. I can work out in the middle of the day. It was so very flexible, right? This job has some flexibility too, but nothing like where I just left. So I had to sit and think. I'm like, in this economy with everything going on, mind you, that what's going on in the world does not scare me. But I'm like, God, you open this door. It's a very stable company. They're constantly getting new business. Like, I know you brought me here, so either way, I'm fine. Do I really want to accept this senior accounts manager role that's paying way more than what I was getting paid at the other company? Do I want to accept this role when I'm content with where I am? Like, I'm comfortable. Like, I'm okay with exactly how things are, but I really had to step up to it like a Esther moment. Right? I was like, okay, God, I'm going to accept this new role, even though I know my director and other people are going to be upset because they really, really wanted me in that role. Like when I tell you though, that was God favored me in that role. They really, like everyone at that company loved me. Okay. To the point where they told me, okay, go to your new job. If you don't like it in 2 weeks, come back. We'll hire you back. That's not common. So I didn't want to upset people, but I knew God was telling me, I'm giving you the option to choose, and no choice that you choose is wrong. But do you want to stay here and just, be comfortable and have fun? Or do you want me to advance you and accelerate you? Do you want me to promote you? Do you want a bigger salary? Do you want like a more stable company? Like this is your choice. And I felt like I literally stepped up to it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take the new job. God, if I perish, I perish. That's the way I felt like it was, right? And not to say that this would be a bad thing, because if God is presenting you with options, both of them are God options, so they're both good, okay? If it's God, it's good, okay? It's God good. Right? But I was kind of like, okay, I'm taking this position. If I perish, I perish. I don't know what's going to happen or why you're presenting this door to me. But if I perish, I perish. Let me step up. So for me, it was truly like an Esther moment, if that makes sense. So I'm here at this new job. I just started on 4/14. This is my 3rd day. So far, so good. Let me turn off this mini heater, guys. So far, so good. I met my team yesterday. Love the team. Like, everybody's in different areas. It's cool. Right? So right now I'm just training, I completed all of my training modules, have a ton of notes, whatever. I'm just like, I still have so many programs they have to give me access to. So I'm just enjoying the time, right? But last night, God gives me a dream. And in the dream, I was being promoted at this current company to a team lead position, right? And the person promoting me in the dream for this current company was Rosemary. Rosemary is the CFO that works for the company I just left. Okay, but in the dream, she worked at the company that I'm at now, and she was promoting me, okay, to a team lead role. And the person whose role that I was taking over, her name was Susie. And Susie is somebody that I used to work with back in 2007 when I lived in Florida, a long time ago. Okay, so I was replacing Susie and taking her position as team lead, and Rosemary was promoting me, right, in this dream. And I remember in the dream, Rosemary called me Susie since I was taking over her position, right? And I want you guys to catch this. She began to call me Susie as I stepped into her position. And then whoever was promoted to my position, there was someone in the dream, I don't remember their face, they were promoted to my position that I'm currently in as senior accounts manager. So basically, I was moving to a team lead over the account managers, and the other person was taking my position as senior accounts manager. So Rosemary called the other person taking over by my name, and she called me by Susie's name, right? Catch this. So in the dream, I was like, oh, I have to make a video for Bold for Christ. Like, I have to let them know that I just started this job and I'm already being promoted to a team lead. So that's what I was saying to myself in the dream. And that's pretty much the end of the dream. Okay, so I want to explain to you what God is showing. And I may not hit every single detail because it's a lot. But I don't know who this is for. But God is saying, you're getting ready to be promoted after you've already been promoted. You think that where you are is the promotion and that's it, and it's on to the next whatever other advancements he has for you. But God is actually going to promote you in the very place that he's already promoted you in. So he's not done with you wherever you are right now. This is not the final stage for you in this new season. Okay, and I want you to catch this. Susie means lily or rose. That's the name meaning of the name Susie. Rosemary is also, it's an herb, but it also signifies, it's the same type of meaning. Both of these names are rooted in the beauty of flowers, right? So you have Susie, that means lily or rose. Susie is the person I was replacing in the dream. And then you have Rosemary, who's also, her name is Rose and Mary put together, but Rosemary is an herb. And that herb has the ability to thrive in coastal environments, right? With moisture from the sea. Okay, but rosemary is an herb. Rosemary, the herb, is actually known to be used at funerals and weddings. Y'all better catch this because I can't even go deep into that part of it. But this herb, rosemary, is known to be used like historically at weddings and funerals, okay? But both of these names, Susie and Rosemary, are rooted in the beauty of flowers, which symbolizes favor, beauty, and spiritual blossoming, spiritual acceleration, spiritual advancement. Okay, catch this. It symbolizes favor, beauty, and spiritual blossoming. Okay, I really want you guys to catch this. And the verse the Lord brought me to was Songs of Solomon 2, verse 1. It says, I am the rose of Sharon. Catch this. We have Rosemary. I am the rose of Sharon and the lily of the valley. Susie means lily or rose, and then you have Rosemary. Catch this, guys. I am the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley. This is in Song of Solomon 2, verse 1. Many theologians and biblical scholars feels like this verse is Jesus speaking of who he is, right? He's the rose of Sharon and the lily of the valley, which is why you hear a lot of people refer to Jesus as the lily of the valley. Some theologians and biblical scholars say that this is the Shulamite speaking, because in the Song of Solomon, there's a conversation happening between the groom and the bride, right? The Shulamite woman, the bride. And they feel like this is the Shulamite woman saying, I am the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley. And some say that it's Jesus, right? So this is what the Lord is speaking from this word, guys. There's growth taking place. There's promotion taking place in the area that you thought that he had already promoted you in. You thought he was finished. But the fact of the matter is he told you that he's going to do exceedingly above all that you can ask, think, or imagine. That does not end with your current promotion and what God has currently blessed you with. He's exceeding that. So this in-between place, I'm in an in-between place, right? And I want you guys to catch this. Let me try to get into this a little bit more. The plain of Sharon, which is talked about in Song of Solomon 2:1. I am the rose of Sharon. Sharon is a plain. It's a fertile plain, like a fertile area of land. Fertile means there's fruitfulness there. There's growth there, right? I am the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley, right? The plain of Sharon is located in Israel. It's between Tel Aviv, Joppa, in Mount Carmel, right? So the plain of Sharon is the in-between. So you have the plain of Sharon, and then you have Israel, Tel Aviv, which is a city in Israel, also known as Joppa. Okay, it's often referred to as, what is it? I wrote it down. Come on. Tel Aviv, Yaffo. Okay, that's what the city of Tel Aviv is often referred to. Tel Aviv, Yaffo. And that's because it was founded right next to Joppa, and over a course of time, Joppa and Tel Aviv, which are two cities in Israel, they merged together. Okay, so today they're referred to, Tel Aviv is referred to as Tel Aviv Yaffo. Okay, so I want you guys to catch this. The plain of Sharon, which is talked about in that verse in Song of Solomon 2:1, Sharon is a fertile plain, which means it's a fruitful piece of land. It's a land, an area where things thrive, where things grow, okay? So you are in the in-between, okay? So you have the plain of Sharon that's in the middle, in between Tel Aviv, aka Joppa, and Mount Carmel. Some people say Carmel, some people say caramel. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever. So you have Tel Aviv, Joppa, Sharon, the plain of Sharon, and then you have on this side Mount Carmel, right? The company that I used to work at prior to working at the last company that God opened the door to was based in Tel Aviv, Israel. And I want you guys to catch this. It was based in when I worked at the law firm, it was based in Tel Aviv, Israel, Joppa. Okay. So I went from that law firm to the in-between, the two doors that God opened up for me. Okay. So I'm in that area of the plain of Sharon, that fertile land. Whoever this is for, you're in that fertile land. Okay, your Joppa and Tel Aviv time, catch this, because I'm trying to explain it the best way I know how. Your Joppa and Tel Aviv time has passed, and we're going to get to this. You're in that plain of Sharon, the in-between stage. And on the plain of Sharon, things thrive, they blossom, they grow. So wherever you are right now, you're in that plain of Sharon where God is blossoming you. He's growing you. He's bestowing a new mantle upon you. In the dream, Rosemary began to call me Susie because I was stepping into her place. Okay, so God is saying this is not just a promotion, a job. I'm bestowing a mantle upon you that's going to promote you. It's an assignment. Okay, so many of you were in that Tel Aviv, Joppa area, just like I was when I worked at the law firm that was based in Tel Aviv. Then God opened two doors for me and I walked through them both. Okay, that's that middle ground, the in-between, the plain of Sharon, where things are fertile and they thrive and they grow. Okay, I'm in that in-between. It's a season of growth, that plain of Sharon, but God is getting you to the Mount Carmel or Mount Carmel area. Okay, so you have Tel Aviv, Joppa, plain of Sharon, Mount Carmel. That's how they're positioned on the map. Okay, that's how they're positioned. God is saying you're in that in-between, but in that in-between, you're fruitful. You're literally standing on fruitful ground. So you will see promotion. You will see open doors, even after he's already promoted you. I've already been promoted. I just went from one job to another, one career to another, and it was a huge promotion. But God is saying he's not done with you, whoever this word is for. You think the promotion and the breakthrough that you just received is it for a minute, but God is saying he's going to do something in that in-between that you're in right now. You're standing on fertile, on fruitful ground. And he's getting you to that Mount Carmel area, okay? Tel Aviv, Joppa, plain of Sharon, Mount Carmel. That's how they're positioned, right? So I want you guys to catch this. In Joppa, Tel Aviv, Joppa is where Jonah fled, right? Jonah fled to Joppa, running away from his assignment, okay? In Joppa, Peter raised Tabitha, Dorcas, from the dead, right? That's Acts 9. In Joppa is where God gave Peter a rooftop vision and told him not to deem anything unclean that he's already made clean, right? That's in Acts 10. So in Joppa, we see that There was rebellion to redirection with Jonah. There was resurrection and restoration. And there was also revelation and expansion of ministry in that place of Joppa. You came out of that. Okay, that was your area of redirection, restoration, resurrection, revelation, and expansion of ministry. Now God has you from Tel Aviv, Joppa to that middle ground, which is the plain of Sharon. You're on fertile ground. So in this plain of Sharon, God is promoting you. He's elevating you. He's doing a bunch of fruitful things in your life. So don't think that the promotion, the breakthrough that he's given you, that is it. God is not done. He's saying you're standing on fertile ground. You're standing on that plain of Sharon, that fruitful area. Okay. I want you guys to catch this. And he's bringing you to that Mount Carmel moment. Okay. In Mount Carmel is where Elijah challenged the prophets of Baal. He challenged the prophets of Baal to prove that their God is really God, right? He challenged them in Mount Carmel. And on Mount Carmel is where God showed up by fire and by rain. Y'all better catch this. So they saw God in a tangible way. God is taking you from that in-between. That in-between place that you're in is where you're going to be promoted. In this dream, I was promoted to team lead, and it was in this company that I just got to. And I was so eager in the dream to testify to you guys about it. God is saying, you went from Tel Aviv, Joppa to that middle ground, which is the plain of Sharon, okay? The plain of Sharon, that fertile place, and he's taking you to that place of Mount Carmel. Okay, Sharon is between Mount Carmel and Tel Aviv, Joppa. You're in that in-between, and where he's taking you, Mount Carmel, you will see God in a tangible way, by fire and by rain. Elijah, we're going to read it together, but when Elijah challenged the prophets, he was saying, since you think your God is God, let's do this challenge and see who's really God. Okay, and in that moment, our God, the one true God, showed up by fire. Okay, he showed up by fire. And on that same Mount Carmel, is where God brought rain in the area of drought. It's where Elijah was telling his servant to go look up in the sky to see if there's any rain. And the seventh time is when he saw the fist the size of a man's hand in the sky, and they ran for it. Okay, but before the rain came, Elijah discerned it in the spirit that there's a heavy rain coming. We're not going to be in drought for long. God is about to bring provision. So the fire on Mount Carmel represented his power, but the rain he brought after that represented his blessings, his provision, his grace, his mercy. Y'all better catch this. God is taking you from that in-between, which you're in a fruitful in-between place, okay, to Mount Carmel, where you're going to see him in a very tangible way. Okay, and I pray that this is making sense. So if we go back to Song of Solomon, I am the rose of Sharon, right? This is God speaking, or you could even say the Shulamite woman, both, right? I am the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valleys. Lilies in real life, they grow in valleys. That's where lilies grow. They're beautiful roses, flowers. But they grow in valleys. They grow in shaded areas. They grow in low places. They grow in humility. Y'all better be catching this spiritually. They grow in humility. I am the rose of Sharon. That's God's way of saying, like, I am that flower, that rose, that beauty that grew in fruitful places. The lily of the valley. But I started from humility. Whoever this is for, you are that lily. You started in a humble place. You grew in the valley. The valley is a low place. Lilies in real life grow in valleys, in low places, in shaded areas, and they grow to be beautiful. But in order to grow to be beautiful and fruitful and get to that plain of Sharon, you have to start off in a humble manner with a humble heart, and you've done that. So God is promoting you. You're in the in-between. This is not your final stop. Wherever position you're in, wherever you are, whatever God just blessed you with, that's not your final stop. There is promotion on the horizon for you in this in-between plain of Sharon, fruitful place. Your Tel Aviv Joppa days are over. But in that Tel Aviv Joppa area of your life, like I said, that's the same place that Jonah fled to. When God gave him an assignment, where did he go? Joppa. When Peter raised Dorcas, Dorcas, aka Tabitha, where was that done at? In Joppa. When God gave Peter a revelation and corrected him and expanded his ministry through the revelation he was given, where was that revelation given where God told Peter not to deem anything unclean that he's deemed as clean? That was in Joppa. So again, you've been in that place of rebellion to redirection, of resurrection and restoration, of revelation and expansion of ministry. Now you're in that in-between plane of sharing that fruitful place, and God is getting you to that area of Mount Carmel, whatever y'all want to call it, where you see his fire and his rain. You see him in a tangible way. Tangible means you can feel it. It's not just prophecy. You can feel it. It's not just you speaking it. You can feel it. You can grab hold of it. So again, Rosemary promoted me, right? Rosemary, again, Rosemary and Susie have the same types of names. It's both based around flowers. Susie means lily or rose. Rosemary is an herb, but it's a plant. Rosemary is a plant that grows in coastal environments. The plain of Sharon is considered a coastal environment because it runs along the Mediterranean Sea on the western coast of Israel. Rosemary grows in coastal environments. It's an herb, but it's a plant. Rosemary comes from a plant. I pray that y'all are catching this. So when Rosemary began to call me Susie, she was calling me Lily. She was calling me Rose. That's the name meaning of Susie, Lily, Rose. And again, it says, I am the rose of the Sharon. I am the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley. That Song of Solomon 2:1. You started from humble beginnings, but God is growing you into something beautiful. And again, her calling me Susie, as in Rose, as in Lily, was not just God promoting me to someone's position, but it was also God bestowing on me a mantle, not just a job, a mantle, a calling, an assignment, just like he's doing for many of you. Like I said, I've just been promoted, but God is saying, I'm not done with you yet. You're still in that in-between, but don't worry, you're on fertile ground. Don't worry, you're on fruitful ground. I got you. And I don't know who this word is for, but God is saying that to you. You've been called out of Tel Aviv Joppa. Like I said, the law firm, the last company I worked for was in Tel Aviv, right? Then God opened 2 doors for me in the plain of Sharon. Okay, that's that fruitful ground, right? So God is saying you're out of that, but I still use that to mold you for where I'm taking you, to grow you, to be able to receive and perceive where I'm taking you. So from Tel Aviv, aka Joppa, I moved you to the plain of Sharon, that fertile area. I moved you to that fertile area. I made you the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley. And in real life, my grandma who raised me, her name was Lily. My grandma raised me from newborn until I was 4 years old. And God has already told me previously that the blessings that I'm receiving today is from the prayers my grandmama prayed over my life back then. My mom couldn't take care of me. She already had babies in diapers when she gave birth to me. When my mom got pregnant with me, my mom's tubes were tied. Y'all better catch that. Her tubes were tied. So when she gave birth to me, she sent me to live with my dad's mom. Yo, woo! That's the whole word. She sent me to live with my father's mom. She sent me to live with my father's mom. My father's mom's name was Lily. And she raised me until I was 4. But the very blessings that I'm receiving today come from the prayers that my grandmama prayed over my life back then. So it was a reason why my mom gave me over to my father's mother to raise me. Even though she didn't know the purpose back then, there was a spiritual purpose behind it. There was a reason why God allowed me to be birthed out of the womb of a woman whose tubes were tied. When God wants to birth something through someone, it doesn't matter what they choose to do with their body. It doesn't matter about the doors that they try to close or what they try to stop. God is going to birth whatever it is that he has already written to be birthed through that person. Nobody can stop what God has already deemed fit, what he's already called to fruition, what he's already called into existence. Nobody can stop that, regardless of what they try to do, right? So God is saying your in-between is fertile. Wherever you are, you feel like God's promoted me, I'm being blessed, this is a blessed season, and you think that's it, but God is saying, no, I'm getting you to Mount Carmel. So again, Tel Aviv, Joppa, then you have Plain of Sharon, that's where you are, the in-between, the fertile place, and then you have Mount Carmel. God is getting you to that Mount Carmel place where you're going to see him in a tangible way, his fire and his rain. So I want to read this to you because this is going to hit home. And I love this story. I'm reading from the NIV version Bible, 1 Kings 18. I'm going to start at verse 16 and I'm just going to read through verse 46. And it's titled Elijah on Mount Carmel. I cannot get my words out today. Elijah on Mount Carmel. It says, so Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. When he saw Elijah, he said to him, is that you, you troubler of Israel? I have not made trouble for Israel, Elijah replied, but you and your father's family have. You have abandoned the Lord's commands and have followed the Baals. Some people say Baals, but I say Baals, which is false gods. Now summon the people from all over Israel to meet me on Mount Carmel, and bring the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah who eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent word throughout all Israel and assembled the prophets on Mount Carmel. Elijah went before the people and said, how long will you waver between two options? Ooh! How long will you waver between two options? If the Lord is God, follow him. If Baal is God, follow him. But the people said nothing. Then Elijah said to them, I am the only one of the Lord's prophets left, but Baal has 450 prophets. Get 2 bulls for us. Let Baal's prophets choose one for themselves and let them cut it into pieces and put it on the wood, but not set fire to it. I will prepare the other bull and put it on the wood and not set fire to it. Then you will call on the name of your God, lowercase g, and I will call on the name of the Lord, capital G. The God who answers by fire, he is God. Y'all better catch this. Then all the people said, what you say is good. Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, choose one of the bulls and prepare it first. Since there are so many of you, right? That's his way of saying, since there's so many of you, it's only one me. You go first, right? Call on the name of your God, but do not light the fire. So they took the bull given them and prepared it. So he's saying, put your sacrifice on the wood. Don't light it like you would normally do. We're going to let your false God light the fire. Since he is God, he should be able to light this on fire without you having to do it, since you want to consider him as God, right? So that's what Elijah is telling them. Let's test this out, right? Then they called on the name of Baal from morning till noon. Baal, answer us, they shouted, but there was no response. No one answered, and they danced around the altar they had made. At noon, Elijah began to taunt them. Shout louder, he said. Surely he's a god. Perhaps he is in deep thought, or busy, or traveling. Maybe he is sleeping and must be awakened. So they shouted louder and slashed themselves with the swords and spears, as was their custom, until their blood flowed. So here are the false gods. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Someone's at the door. Okay, guys. So I'm going to have to merge these videos because I paused it and then it just started over. So let me finish. So it says, where were we? So midday passed and they continued their frantic prophesying until the time for the evening sacrifice. But there was no response. No answer. No one paid attention, right? So here they are doing all of these shenanigans to call on their God, and their God is not bringing any fire because their God is not God, right? Then it says, then Elijah said to all the people, come here to me. They came to him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord, which had been torn down. Y'all better catch this. Elijah took 12 stones, one for each of the tribes descended from Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord had come, saying, your name shall be Israel. With the stones, he built an altar in the name of the Lord, and he dug a trench around it large enough to hold 2 seahs of seed. He arranged the wood, cut the bull into pieces, and laid it on the wood. Then he said to them, fill 4 large jars with water and pour it on the offering and on the wood. Do it again, he said, and they did it again. Do it a 3rd time, he ordered, and they did it the 3rd time. The water ran down around the altar and even filled the trench. At the time of sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward and prayed, Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant and have done all these things at your command. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so these people will know that you, Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again. Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil, and licked up the water in the trench. When all the people saw it, they fell prostrate and cried, the Lord, he is God. The Lord, he is God. So they knew who was the real God because he showed up. He showed his power by fire. Y'all better catch this, whoever this word is for. Then Elijah commanded them, seize the prophets of Baal. Don't let anyone get away. They seized them, and Elijah had them brought down to Kishon Valley and slaughtered there. And Elijah said to Ahab, go, eat and drink, for there is the sound of heavy rain. Elijah was discerning in the spirit that it was about to rain, okay? Nothing had happened yet. He said, go eat and drink, for there is the sound of heavy rain. The rain that he was hearing was in the spirit. Y'all better catch this. Whoever this is for, the Mount Carmel moment that God is bringing you to, it's no more the sound is in the spirit. I see what God is doing in the spirit. I hear what God is doing in the spirit. This is going from hearing or seeing in the spirit to it being a tangible thing. Catch this, guys. So Ahab went off to eat and drink, but Elijah climbed to the top of Carmel, bent down to the ground, and put his face between his knees. Go and look toward the sea, he told his servant. And he went up and looked. There is nothing there, he said. 7 times Elisha said, go back. The 7th time the servant reported, a cloud as small as the man's hand is rising from the sea. So Elisha said, go and tell Ahab, hitch up your chariot and go down before the rain stops you. Meanwhile, the sky grew black with clouds. The wind rose. A heavy rain started falling, and Ahab rode off to Jezreel. The power of the Lord came upon Elijah, and tucking his cloak into his belt, he ran ahead of Ahab all the way to Jezreel. This is what the Lord is saying to whoever this is for. You're headed to your season of Mount Carmel. And in that in-between place, he's promoting you. Okay, he's promoting you. In this dream, I said, I got to tell the Bold for Christ family that I just got here and God has allowed me to be promoted to team lead. Like I'm already becoming team lead, okay? He's saying in this season that you're coming upon of Mount Carmel, he's saying, you've seen my fire, my power, and now it's time to see my rain, my overflow, my provision, my blessings. In this place, this season of Mount Carmel, you're going to see his fire, which is his power, and you're going to see his rain, his provision. And his fire in the rain in 1 Kings, it was tangible. It was something that was not just talked about. They saw it. They saw the power of God. They saw the provision of God. So in this in-between place, you are in a fertile, a blessed area. And God is taking you to this place of Mount Carmel, where not only will you see his power, his fire in a tangible way, you will see his rain, his provision, his abundance, his favor, his grace in a tangible way. So I pray that this blesses to its fore, and I pray that it made sense. This is the word. And yeah, that's it, guys. I love you. Have a great day.